Welcome, friends of AI for Autism. Today, we continue with our series of interviews where we hear from members of our community and listen to their stories. We have a wonderful guest with us today. Mei is a personal trainer and nutrition expert living and working in London. Mei is also a mother to an autistic son, Aaqil. And today, we'll be hearing her story and we'll get a chance to learn from her experiences. So please join me in welcoming Mei Gomez. Hey, Mei.
Hi.
How's it going today? You all right?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. Looking forward to this interview. Let's
Yeah,
jump.
me too.
Fantastic. Let's jump straight into it. Mei, can you tell us about your son and how old he was when he was diagnosed as autistic?
So Aaqil is turning 8 next month, and Aaqil is a non-verbal autistic child. Um, he is, hold on, how old was he when he got diagnosed? He got diagnosed actually when he turned 5.
When he was 5.
Yeah, he got a late diagnosis.
Right.
Even though there was already a speculation from when he was already around 2.
And when you say diagnosis, what was the process like?
Oh, the process was very a very long process. So I already suspected that Aaqil could be autistic from when he was already from as young as 1.5. Um, I'm quite aware with autism from when I studied health and social care. So when Aaqil was like 1.5, he wasn't pointing, his eye contact wasn't exactly there. He didn't have no mama or dada words. Yeah, it was just quite obvious to me that there was something very different about Aaqil. So I raised up my concerns with the GP, and they thought that he's just delayed, that he's just taking a bit of time, and that speech will eventually come to him within the next 6 months to a year. But then when that happened, I started to notice more things about him, like with his sensory sensitivity. And then that's when I raised it up again. But then it was just like, okay, no, he's still too young. So I was seeing speech and language therapists, I was seeing occupational therapists. They all thought that he was still too young to be diagnosed. But as the years went on, it was like, this is getting more and more difficult because he's not speaking. He can't express to me what it is that he wants. If anything, he has to pull my hand to get the item or show to get basically what he wants from me. He can't verbally say, Mum, I want this, or Mum, this is what's bothering me. It was just like playing a guessing game all the time with Aaqil until I got the right support. But the process of getting his diagnosis was, yeah, just like I said, it was just very long. And it was only about when he started nursery that they started to take me seriously, because the nursery started to notice that, you know what, he is actually autistic, but we can't give you the diagnosis without actual professionals doing that and going through the assessment. So when the Senko team from the nursery put him forward through alongside with my GP referral and everything, things finally started to get on the roll. So from there, what happened? Yeah, so obviously Aaqil went through the tests. He went through seeing like speech and language therapists, occupational therapists. They were just assessing him. And then I just remember the moment when I finally got the diagnosis. Like, it was already one thing knowing that he's potentially autistic, but to be by yourself in a room where you have like 7 different professionals circling around you and they just say the words, yes, Aaqil is autistic. In that moment, my heart just shut down. My mind just completely went blank. I didn't have anyone with me. And it was like, I felt a sense of guilt, like, see, even talking about it makes me quite emotional, because it's a moment that I'll never forget. It was like, even though I knew that he was potentially autistic, to actually hear the words, it just hit me differently. I felt like I kind of failed as a mother, that even though I knew that he is different and or special, that I didn't really push forward as much as I should have to get the help or the support that he requires. I just remember that moment, just leaving the center, and I was just walking around. I was just walking around for hours. I didn't want to speak to anyone. It was just a shock of reality, but at the same time, a really big sense of relief that finally I've got the answers that what I'm looking for. It's like now I can finally start doing the things that I need to do as a mother to implement early intervention to him, making sure he's getting the right support in school, just everything in general. It was just like, now I finally have a platform, because before I didn't have one. And it was like, now I've got the diagnosis, I've got the platform. It's now my job to go out there and set the things that Aaqil needs to help with his everyday life.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Mei. And I'm sure many of the parents and listeners out there can relate to that long, laborious process. And after having suspected something about their child, but for years and years, no one properly diagnosing them until something comes up. But what you shared there was so key about that feeling of relief that you got once there was a confirmation of it. And from the many parents we've spoken to, there's a massive similarity there. And I think what you shared there will connect with people quite significantly. So thank you very much for that. You also mentioned something about failing as a mother, and that is something I wanted to ask you. After discovering he was autistic, how did you feel? And then since then, and up to now, how have you changed as a person and as a mother?
Oh, I've changed so much as a mother and just as a person. Aaqil is the prime example of actions speak louder than words. Um, his actions will tell me that he loves me. His actions will tell me, you know, what he wants and things like that. And to raise a child with autism, you need to have a lot of patience, a huge amount of patience, especially when you have a child that cannot verbally speak. You end up having to learn other ways to learn how to communicate with your child. So like for my instance, it was to learn picture exchange, Makaton sign language, which my son does understand and does sometimes use, but it's always still best to verbally speak to him. But sometimes like saying more or please, saying good morning, he won't exactly say, but he'll understand it when you do it. Mm-hmm. So it just made me more understanding, a lot more understanding, definitely have a lot more empathy towards other parents out there who are going through the same situation. It's because you know the struggles of dealing with everyday life with autism. It's, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but it just makes you appreciate communication. That's for sure. Like for me, it's only just me and Aaqil in the house. So when I'm able to actually speak to other adults or whichever, I appreciate it more, because it's the only time I actually get to interact with an adult or actually have a conversation, because at home, I don't exactly get to have conversations with my child. And I guess that's where it gets really heartbreaking for me. But at the same time, it makes me appreciate that there are other ways of communicating rather than just speech. So it makes you learn, and you just tend to appreciate it more.
That's truly some truly powerful stuff right there, Mei. And also, after discovering that he was autistic, how were friends and family towards you and towards Aaqil?
Friends and family were very supportive. I have a very close circle of friends and family who are very understanding towards Aaqil and towards me with my situation. They always tend to his needs. So if they know they want to see me and Aaqil, they will come over to mine to make sure, you know, that he's in a safe environment, that he's somewhere where he's familiar, even though there could be people that he hasn't seen in a while. that it's okay because he's at home. They'll take into considerations the places that we'll go to. So like, for example, in shopping malls or coffee shops, they know that those places are a no-go for Aaqil. Yeah, when I told them that Aaqil was autistic, I think because they also kind of had their speculation as well, I think for them it was also the same, where they just felt like a sense of relief for me. That it was like, oh, finally, Mei, you got the answers. Finally, Mei, now you know what to do with Aaqil, you know how to get the support for him. It it was just amazing to have my family be really supportive. I actually wouldn't know what to do without them, to be honest. And like what I said, mentioned before, that if it wasn't for my friends and family, if they don't call on me or check up on me once a week or even call me every day or something, I wouldn't have adult interaction. I just won't have it unless a parent at the school says hi to me or other people just say hi. That's the most you'll get from me, from in terms of communication. So it's nice that they know how it can feel, that because I can feel really isolated at times. That's the one thing about having a child with autism, and I'm sure other parents will understand when I say that you feel isolated, that you can tell people that, oh, I've got an autistic child, but they don't know what to say to that. They don't know how to act on it. And then because of that, they distance themselves from you rather than actually asking you questions to educate yourself on the matter. They just rather distance themselves from you. And that can kind of hurt. But at the same time, it's actually a good thing because it just eliminates who the real ones are to be there for you and who really is actually understanding of your situation with your son, well, especially like with my son. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's very beautiful to hear that you have a wonderful support circle who understands your needs and also Aaqil's needs as well. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, the next one, and you've touched on it slightly, how you said how public places, malls are no-go places for Aaqil. While he was growing up, what were some of the challenges you faced?
So from as early as 1.5, that I remember, it's like even like going to Starbucks or like a coffee shop was just a no-go, because the minute he would hear the blenders going off or something, or the coffee machines going off, he will, if he's in his buggy, he will start kicking off. He'll just start covering his ears. He has a favorite teddy that he carries around with him, so he will bury his head into Teddy, start screaming. But the minute I would take him outside, he will just immediately calm down. Just immediately calm down. Even taking him to restaurants, if the smell is really strong or the lighting is really bright, he will start covering his eyes. He will just start having full-on meltdowns where he will start banging his head. He will try to pull on his clothes. There was just big, very big difference between a tantrum and a meltdown. So because I knew it was a meltdown, it was like, okay, what can I do as a mother? All right, I think it's the lights. Oh, I think it's the sound. You just have to get him out of that. And every time I did, it would always calm him down within 5 to 10 minutes, or sometimes immediately.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. In fact, we're going to be coming to sensory sensitivity and meltdowns very soon. And with your experience as a mother to Aaqil, to an autistic son, what have you set out to do? And have you been speaking to people to raise awareness?
Well, what it is for me, it's like when I'm out with Aaqil and he has a meltdown, or because Aaqil is a very loud child, he may not speak, but he can be very loud when he's very excited. So the times he gets really excited, or whichever, especially is when he gets on the bus. And sometimes he will be jumping up and down. Sometimes he will just be just really loud, and people will turn around and stare or have something to say. And I'm very vocal about him just saying that he's autistic. I don't hide about it. And when people start looking, I'm just like, by the way, my son is autistic. It just helps stop the awkward staring and just people just constantly looking over to see what's going on and why is a child making that noise and why am I not stopping it? Mm-hmm. I've had to explain to people the reason why I don't stop it is because it's the way my child communicates. It's the only time I actually get to hear a voice out of him. So when he does do it, I am not going to stop him from it because I'm trying to encourage him to speak out more. It may be just noise to other people, but to me, it's a language. It's his speech. So the more I hear it, the more I'm happy with it because he wants to express himself. It's hard sometimes with people in the public, but I just rather just tell people, yes, he is autistic, rather than just be like, what are you looking at him for? Leave him alone, mind your own business. I've attended things like the Autism talk show in Excel. That was actually quite interesting. I got to speak to a few people there, which also helped me raise awareness and stuff like that. I wanted to do other charity things this year, but obviously COVID happened, but that won't stop me from hopefully that next year can do it again for April. But to be honest, that's just about it. And obviously, you know, when my son wears the sunflower lanyard, a lot of people actually have asked me, what does that mean when he wears that? And I might just have to say, it's just raising awareness that my child has a hidden disability. So that if there's any time that you see that he could be struggling or whichever, just know that this individual may need assistance. But that's just about it with time in terms of like raising awareness. I haven't really done much, to be honest.
Well, so simply piping up and telling people that your son has autism is sufficient, I would say, just to raise awareness, because they might never even have heard of it up until that point, and it might lead them on a path of understanding. And what you said there was really touching and powerful about how to others it might be just noise, but to you it is his speech. I found that incredibly touching. So thank you very much for that. I was going to go back to the subject of sensory sensitivity issues and meltdowns that he has and how it was dealt with. You've given a few examples about how when he's in a restaurant and the sound of something or the smell of something, and to pacify himself, he might hold on to his favorite teddy bear and bury his face and other activities. Could you give us some more examples about some of the meltdown episodes, that's his sensory sensitivity, and what he does and what you do to calm him down?
So when Aaqil has a meltdown, it can range. For me, I'm always expecting at least one meltdown in a day. Mm-hmm. It's just something I've always had to mentally prepare myself for because anything can trigger him off. Mm-hmm. There's no days where you can be like, okay, we know Monday is going to be fine and Tuesday is going to be a bad day. It's just so unpredictable with Aaqil. With him having meltdowns, it can be about him pulling his clothes, him banging his head, which is the one that raises the most concern for me. He will start throwing things. He will just start kicking. He will lay on the ground. That's the main one. He will have to lay somewhere and completely stiffen up his body, where even when you want to try and get him away from that hard surface, because you know he's going to start banging his head and stuff, you can't do it. He's just that strong, and it's just like his body goes on complete shock mode. It's just like, nope, you can't move him whatsoever. There is just nothing you can do. He'll be covering his ears, or if not, he'll be trying to scratch his face. And when you try to stop him from doing that, he will then go to you and start attacking. Like with me, when I try to stop him from like pulling on his shirt, or because my son's got a G-peg fitted in. Mm-hmm. So sometimes he likes to pull on the plaster or like play around with the tube on his stomach. And that's when it's like, no, I have to stop you now. So when I try and intervene with that by like just holding his hands down and things like that, he will retaliate more. So he'll start pulling my hair, or if not, he'll start trying to pinch me or scratch me. In those moments, as a mother, you just feel so helpless because you want to stop what's bothering your child. And the thing is, you don't know what it is, and you just feel really helpless. And that's when you're just like, okay, son, I need you to work with me, because I can't leave you alone, because you might harm yourself. But at the same time, I know I need to give you the space for you to learn to calm down with your own thoughts, because I know by me being close to you that it's not actually helping you, it's actually making you worse. And that's the thing where you struggle as a mother to make a decision. Do I stay next to him to stop him from self-harming himself, or do I step back where I know he may hurt himself a little bit, but give it time, he'll calm down. And then once Aaqil calms down, it's like the meltdown didn't happen. He'll just start giggling out of nowhere as if it didn't happen. And that's the one thing with Aaqil. It's like his attitude, not attitude, his moods can be very up and down. It can be like a mega meltdown one moment, and then within seconds, he'll be on a super happy, giggly, affectionate mood where he just constantly wants cuddles, he just wants kisses and things like that. But yeah, the meltdowns can be really terrible. The only way I can describe with how I deal with it is that I have to assess what kind of meltdown it is. Is it a situation where his tablet just went low bat, that's why he's having a meltdown? Or is it because there's one toy missing that he's lined up that he can't seem to find? Or is it a noise or something? Depending on what the meltdown is, I'll have to act accordingly to that. So like if it's the toy, for example, I'll be like, I can tell when it's the toy because he'll just frantically be looking for it. And then he'll start pulling my hand to go underneath the bed or go underneath the wardrobe or something to look for it. And then once I've had it, he starts flapping his hands with excitement. Then he'll just put it back into place where he's lined it up. Then he's happy again. But if it's like a noise or loud music or something else, and he's really going really mad, like as in his meltdown is just going really out of control, in those moments, I try to make sure he's on a bed the most times, or on a sofa or something. So if he does want to bash his head or start smacking himself or something, at least I know he's on a soft surface. Then I have to step away, as in just either go to the next room or go down like the hallway or something. And I just have to say, Aaqil, I'm here. I try to reassure him to say that mummy's here. If you want me, I'll stay. If you don't, I know, because if I come close, he'll push me. So that I'll know when he wants me close, because there are times he has meltdowns. He just wants me close and he wants pressure. He just wants me to just hug him really tight, and suddenly he'll, calm down. But then there are other times he will really push me away, or if not kick me away, then that's when I know that he doesn't want me in the room, that he wants his own space. And that's when I'll leave him alone. But sometimes even leaving him alone, it can go up to an hour of a meltdown.
Wow.
Where it's constant screaming and it's really loud. It's not even crying, it's just screaming. And then you just hear constant banging. You can just hear like the headboard, or just the bed moving from him banging his head a lot. If not, he's jumping up and down with anger. And you're just like, oh my God. You just really don't know what to do as a mother, but the only thing you can do is just ride it out. That's literally the only thing you can do, is just ride it out. But the thing is, it's just so painful, because you want to help your child. You want to know what's bothering them so that you can help eliminate it. So like, if it is a loud music, you just know, put the volume down, or if not, turn the TV off. Or is it the kettle going off? All right, let me turn the kettle off. It's just anything. If I could just know what it is, it would make a difference. But with me, especially with him not being able to speak or to verbally say to me what's bothering him, I have to play the guessing game every day. The guessing game is just with me every day. I just have to be like, okay, I have to go in detective mode as a mother and be like, okay, what could potentially bothering him? Is there a noise? what is it? I have to even use my own senses and amplify them and try to understand it from his point of view. Is there a certain light that's going off? Is it the sun? Is it something as simple as the sun where I just have to close the curtain and the lighting is not so much? You know, just little simple things like that. And even as simple as, is there a tag on his t-shirt? Is there something that I need to take off? Is there something that's bothering his skin? That's what it is. It's just like, as a mother, you have to play the million guessing game
Wow.
all the time.
Wow. That's really, really powerful. Mother investigated care of everything. I mean, what you shared there and the vast array of different experiences and the way you've dealt with them is truly phenomenal. See, I'm not even a parent to an autistic child, and I'm moved. I can only imagine the many parents out there who are listening to that and nodding with tears in their eyes. So thank you very much for sharing that with us, Mei. So as you're probably aware, the work that we're doing, we're currently raising awareness to build a tool to help people like yourself and parents with sensory, who have children with sensory sensitivity issues, to help identify triggers. Would a tool like this have helped Aaqil and yourself when he was younger or even now?
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually like something I've been actually kind of like asking the school to start implementing on teaching Aaqil. So like even with like computer exchange, sorry, with picture exchange, just to like point or say what he's feeling. So like with the picture of sad or happy or whichever, it will just be nice to know what it is, or if it is a sound, that he will just, you know, point to a photo or something with a volume photo or something where it's a sound or light, anything that will just make me understand what he's going through. It would just be nice to know what he's thinking or what he's feeling, especially with the fact that he can't speak. So it's like, it would just be amazing, even as just as simple as one click of a button or just one finger point or something, even if he's not looking at him and he just does that. It will just be completely amazing for me and for him. And I think it'll be good for him because it's a way for him to communicate. It'll be able to make him feel more confident with himself, that his needs are being met, that someone understands what he's trying to say, rather than getting frustrated with himself and then causing himself a meltdown because he's not able to express what's bothering him. So something like that would be completely amazing.
Yeah, thanks, Mei. I mean, that's why we're doing what we're doing, to effectively minimize the guesswork as much as possible and consequently improve the lives of everyone involved. I mean, Mei, I mean, thank you so much for everything you've shared with us today. Is
It's
there a
okay.
message, one message you'd like to send out to our audience about autism and what it's like to have a child on the spectrum?
One thing I can say is that having a child on the spectrum is very special. It's the most amazing thing that I've ever gone through. It's changed me as a mother, as a woman, just as a person in general. It's made me more empathetic towards other people. It's made me more understanding. It's made me more patient. And I wouldn't change Aaqil for the world. Like, if I could do it all over again with him, I would. It's just that bond, and it's just like I said, it's Aaqil is just the main example of action speaks louder than words. And I think obviously as you get older, you know that statement becomes very true in life with everything that you do, with people you meet, and etc. And Aaqil is just amazing. Like, he's the most kindest, most affectionate little boy. Like, they say that, like, you know, with autistic adults or children, that some of them can be very distant, where they don't want to be held, they don't want to be touched. Aaqil's quite the opposite. He actually loves all of that. So once you get to know him, he won't leave you alone. He's just a very happy child. Anyone who meets him will always say, oh my God, he's such a happy child. It's because he is. And I think that's what it is. It's just seeing those emotions through like body language and facial expressions. That for me is communication. And it just makes you see and appreciate communication in a completely different way when you have someone who can't speak to you. So it broadens up your mind and your understanding on how other humans can interact with you, or how what's more comfortable with them. If there's a message out there, for me, it's be kind. Be kind, don't judge. You don't know what a mother and father is going through with their child, especially if you can actually quite notice that this child or this adult is very different. Don't stare, don't do any of that. If you've got nothing to say, just don't say anything at all. But one thing I can say is that if you are going to say something, kind words of affirmation to the adult who's dealing with the child can go a long way for that person, a very long way. So if you can see that the mother or the father is trying to make effort into comforting their child, or you can see they're doing everything in their power to try and get their child into a safety point, especially if, like, for example, if they have a meltdown in the middle of the road or something, you can see that they're trying to do everything. Just even saying simple words of, like, that was amazing, you're doing a great job, by the way. I know it can't be easy, but just this is just one day, tomorrow is always a new day. Just simple little words can go a real long way for a mother and father. I can't describe it. It's like, that this person or this stranger may not be able to help you, but the fact that they've acknowledged you, it definitely helps eliminate the feeling of when you are feeling helpless. Because in those moments, I know other mothers and fathers will agree with me that you just feel completely helpless. Like you can't cry on the outside, but you're really crying in the inside. Like your heart is breaking because you just don't know what to do, especially you're in public. People are staring at you, people are judging you. As much as you're a person that who doesn't care what other people think, you can't help it, especially in that moment where your child is screaming, for example, whichever. It's just like, just be kind. And if you're not sure about something, ask that person. I know for sure other mothers and fathers out there will agree with me that if a stranger or someone just comes up to you and actually starts asking you questions about autism or something, will be more than happy to answer, rather than have them staring or whichever. And if anything, that will just help raise awareness already as it is, because you're educating someone else. It will just probably make, hopefully, when you do tell them, especially if they're already witnessing what you're already going through, you can just only hope when that conversation ends is that they leave with a bit more understanding of this. They may not know too much about it, but they know the basics just by talking to you. And you can just only hope that from then, that when they do see other potentially autistic people or other people in the spectrum, that they'll just have more understanding. They'll just give a smile, or, like I said, just mind your own business or whichever. Just be definitely more understanding. No mother and father out there who has an autistic child was given a manual saying, by the way, you're going to have an autistic child. Here you go. Now learn what you need to do. No one has the answers. Every day with autism is different. No day is the same. Every day is a learning day for me and for Aaqil, just with how to deal with everyday life. And I think that's where I just want other people to be a lot more understanding, and because some people can be really quite cruel about it. And I think that's where it hurts as a mother, that you're already going through this at home every day. The last thing you want is hearing other people say nasty things, or if not, giving you the stares. So it's just like, for me, definitely just be kind, because at the moment, like, every 1 in 100 children are autistic. So the chances are every corner where you're walking, or there's always going to be one adult or one child that is actually autistic that's just right next to you. So just be kind. Just, like, this journey for other mothers and fathers is already not easy. I'm not trying to say that any parenthood is easy. This one has just definitely got a lot more challenges. So I think for me, it's just, yeah, definitely just be more kind, just be more understanding towards them, because they don't have the sorry, they don't have the answers. For them, they're just dealing with life every day and trying to obviously be the best mother or father that they can be for their child. And that's it, really.
That's a really powerful message there, and thank you very much for your time and for sharing that, Mei. Is there any way our audience can find out about you online? Is there any social media you'd be happy the audience follow you on?
Yes, I am on Instagram. I actually don't even remember my own username. That is actually terrible.
That's fine. In fact, we'll
So
post a
yeah,
link, we'll post a
yeah,
link
if you can just
underneath it.
tag me in it,
Yeah.
and then yeah, they can just follow me from there if they want.
Fantastic. So everyone at home, when you're watching this, if you want to follow Mei, just have a look at the description under this video and you'll be able to find it and just follow her there. But Mei, thank you so much for your time today. I mean, it's been a thoroughly enlightening and touching interview. And thank you all at home for listening as well. If you liked what you saw and you want to share your story, do get in touch with us. Let's put your voice out there to the world as Mei has done today beautifully. Thank you all. Thank you once again, Mei. And this is
Thank
Shane
you.
from AI4Autism. Thank you, Mei Gomez. Signing off. Bye.
Bye.